Black hair is beautiful.
Yo, I'm literally crying about my hair.
I hate having to take my hair out of braids because of the process of having to detangle.
I hate my hair.
The beautiful black hair history.
The slave trade. When someone was captured, the first thing the slave traders did was cut their hair. This was meant to break their ties with their communities.
We love our crowns.
I literally hate my real hair, and I hate my real hair, and I hate that I hate my real hair.
Lips whisper truths our souls deny, but how can we not? We were taught to heal what was never broken.
The hair was one of the few things that could be manipulated. So if you could make your hair look less African and make it look more European, then you might actually not have your child ripped out of your arms. You may not be beaten as badly. You may not be given such back-breaking work that will kill you before your 30th birthday.
They didn't have to kill us. They just had to teach us how to do it ourselves.
A study in 2019 by the National Institutes of Health found that African American women who regularly used chemical hair straighteners were around 30% more likely to get breast cancer than white women.
The report found potentially cancer-causing chemicals in synthetic braiding hair that's often marketed to black women.
Most black women would agree that falling in love with black hair is one of the hardest things they've ever had to do. It's always a gradual process, something that takes time to learn and accept. For most of us, it's something we were never introduced to early on. We aren't given the opportunity to love the struggle that comes with having black hair. Every race struggles with their hair. Before I go deeper, I want to make you aware of something. If you didn't already know, there is deep-rooted rejection of blackness as a whole. Most of what I'm going to talk about is based in Africa. Because I am African. Now, before you assume that Africa is this place where people fully embrace their blackness, their hair, their language, and their culture, let me tell you, that's not entirely true. Yes, the culture is celebrated, but the black person is often rejected by the black person themselves. What am I saying? I'm saying there is no one who hates a black person more than another black person. There are areas where this rejection shows clearly, and one of them is in schools. In most African schools, especially around the time I was growing up, and I'm not old, y'all, I'm 21 years old, there was a rule that girls had to shave their heads. Many schools didn't allow braids or any kind of hairstyle. Your hair had to be cut so short that braiding was impossible. That was their definition of being neat.
Why is it in this day and age still, African young girls and even young boys have to cut their hair just to go to school? What kind of nonsense is that? Do they not know that this is going back to the colonial period, and yet they're still upholding this? Yet they say, oh, we're independent, we're proud. Are you really proud? I don't think you are. Now, this girl specifically is in Ghana, going to a school called Ya Asantewa Senior Girls School. I think it's a boarding school, maybe. And before she enrolled, she had to cut her hair off. Some of them go bald. I'm like, what's the purpose behind this? It all goes back to the European colonial period. The Europeans noticed the African hairstyles and hairdos were a symbol of status, pride, and identity. And obviously, to strip that, what do? You tell them to cut it off. Missionaries went into these places and tell them, oh, your hair's not good enough. It's unkempt. It's bad. So you have to keep it bald because God wants you bald. Imagine that. Now, Ghana has been independent since 1960. It's the first independent African nation. So they should be way past this. But yes, it's still happening. Why? Heck, in other parts of Africa, they still wear these stupid wigs. Like, what are you doing, bro? But your own hair, you tell your kids, cut that hair. Yeah, put on little wigs. Oh, go bleach your skin. Huh? Are you mad? In pre-colonial Ghana, the Asante had all these diverse hairstyles. Beautiful, diverse, sophisticated, yeah? Give examples. I mean, look how beautiful that is, yeah? I get it, maybe it's hard to maintain, it's hard to braid, blah, blah, blah. I get it. So they need to focus on their education, but still, cutting their hair is not the answer, okay? Obviously, don't have too sophisticated hairstyles in school. You don't need that. But at the same time, don't cut their hair. Yeah, there's other cultures out there. They preserve their hair. Are they struggling in their education? Huh? No, they're not. They're doing well. So shut up, bro.
The practice of enforcing hair policies in schools has roots in a mix of historical, cultural, and colonial influences. During colonial times, and even into the 20th century, many schools adopted Eurocentric standards of beauty and grooming. These standards discriminated against natural black hairstyles like afros, braids, locks, and twists. Over time, they became normalized, ignoring the cultural meaning and natural texture of black hair. Movements like the Crown Act have tried to fight this discrimination, but in Africa, it's still very real. And honestly, there is no one who hates black hair more than most African people themselves. As a child, I was never introduced to the idea that black hair could grow longer than about few inches. I saw everyone relax their hair.
Many people spend a lot of time and money on their professional appearance. On top of all the other things, black women have this added layer of worrying about whether or not their hair blends in with what white society deems acceptable. Whether or not we need to straighten our hair to be appropriate for work, or whether we can wear braids, or whether we can wear our hair in our natural state.
When the schools closed, that was the only time we were allowed to braid or try different hairstyles. Because during the school term, it was forbidden. Relaxers became the solution. We were told that our hair needed relaxing for it to grow. It was an unspoken belief. In most African countries, there are Indians, Chinese, and people of other races. In many schools, Indian girls were not required to cut their hair. They could braid or tie it up. When I say braid, I mean a one long braid, or maybe tie it up. Parents began to complain, and slowly, schools began to allow cornrows or relaxed hair tied neatly in buns. Still today, some schools in Africa don't allow natural hair. It's either you braid it or you shave it. In my school, things changed only after we protested. We wrote petitions because we saw the unfairness. There was also colorism. Mixed race students were treated better and were allowed to wear their natural hair while we were not. We fought back and eventually we were allowed to wear our natural hair. But even then, I still carried internalized hatred for my own hair.
At the root of it, if you don't like your natural hair, whether it's the texture, the length, or whatever, you don't like how it makes your face look, it's because you don't like yourself. Period. That's all it is. We can go and say, well, you're not going to disregard the history of what they taught us or whatever. Yes, they taught you self-hatred. And you learned it. And you applied it. That's all. You hate yourself. You hate your hair. You hate the texture of your hair. No, it's too short. To go along with the texture. Yes. Because you hate yourself. That's your hair. That's your texture. That's your length. It's you. You hate it. Because you hate you. That's all. You don't like what you look like right now because you hate yourself right now. Because you don't like that you think as a black woman you need to have a certain texture of hair. Oh, all they show in the media is women of a certain texture of a certain length. Okay. You took it in and you hated yourself because of it. That's what they taught you to do, and that's what you did. So sit in that, think about that, and then either fix it or don't. I don't understand people being bothered that we're saying that you hate yourself because of your actions. You're like, well, no, it's all of these other things that are indicative of self-hatred. Like, that doesn't make sense. Do you see how that doesn't make sense or why that's stupid? You give a list of all the reasons why someone white might not want to wear their natural hair, and all of those reasons are self-hating reasons. Well, we were taught this and we were shown this. Yes, they showed you shit that would make you hate yourself. They taught you things that would make you hate yourself. They taught you things about hair that would make you hate yourself. And that's what happened. You hate yourself. Why do we keep having these conversations? Well, actually, I know it's because y'all are unaccountable and dishonest. I keep saying this. Y'all are extremely unaccountable and dishonest. I think there's a culture of dishonesty amongst women where when it comes to our vanity, we're extremely dishonest about vanity. Because that's all it is. It's vanity. You're extremely worried about how you look when it's simply just you. It's you. If you don't hate yourself, you wouldn't be so stressed about the texture of your hair, the length or whatever. It's because you want to give a certain thing. You want to give a certain look that they told you this is acceptable within our society to look like this. And if you don't look like that, you feel uncomfortable because you hate yourself. They taught you to hate yourself if you don't like the standards. You hate yourself. What is this? Let's stop having a conversation and just settle on the fact that you hate yourself. Fix it. There's plenty of videos out there. Hell, I make some videos about it. Fix it. Or don't. Or just stand in the, I hate my hair. Respectfully. I'm gonna wear braids as long as I want to. So, yes, I hate my hair. You can just stand in it. But no, y'all are unaccountable and this fucking honest.
It took me more time to prepare my relaxed hair than it takes me to take care of my natural hair today. So I realized that the problem wasn't that I didn't have time or that black hair was too difficult to manage. The problem was that I was simply unfamiliar with it. I didn't know what to do with my hair. I couldn't love it because I was never given the opportunity to.
Isn't it funny how when we are in the Black community, we preach progress until someone progresses past you, then suddenly they're acting white. The second a Black person gets more money, expands their vocabulary, drives a nicer car, levels up their life, suddenly they're assimilating. Do you realize that you're the one implying Black people are beneath that? You're actually saying that excellence, order, and success belong exclusively to whiteness, and that is crazy. Why do you put whiteness on this pedestal as if speaking clearly, dressing well, and being educated is their thing?
The light skin supremacy that our beautiful dark skinned sisters have to put up with is an extra layer of pain they carry. But guess what? Although it is worse than what the extremely pale skinned sisters have to deal with, I would say second to the chocolate sisters' trauma around skin color is the pale skin sisters' trauma around skin color. The super light bright queens, they also go through a lot of trauma. It's not as much as the dark. I want to be clear about that, but they go through it. I see it in the schools. The light skinned girl with the green eyes, they got to fight every day. Now the dark skinned one's going to be called ugly African booty scratch, right? Right. But the light skinned one, she getting her face scratched out every day. They bite, you understand? Because they assuming because she's light skinned with hazel eyes, she thinks she better when she may not. So if you exist on either extreme of the color continuum within the African queendom, you suffer. That's true. If you're a tan and a brown, you safe. But if you are super light bright, super chocolate, you're going to suffer. But without question, the chocolate suffer way more.
In Africa, the exaltation of whiteness, the idea that you're trying to be white when you're simply trying to grow yourself, and the whole system of colorism, these are mentalities that pull everyone down. They are backward and they don't let people rise. It's a lose-lose situation that hurts everyone. Light-skinned people may have privilege, yes, but they still get attacked when they try to better themselves. Some might act superior, sure, but many don't. Yet the moment they try to succeed, they are accused of looking down on others. And so it forces a lot of them to underperform or not try to be more of themselves because, if you're too much, you're trying to act better than us. Meanwhile, very dark-skinned people, I'm talking about really dark-skinned people, are treated horribly. They are looked down upon, mocked, and they are called the worst of names. People even joke and say that they cannot be seen in the dark when clearly we can see them. They are rejected by the very system that should be uplifting them. The only time we see very dark-skinned people being uplifted is when these modeling companies want to make money out of them. But we know that in society, these people are rejected. And then I also want to talk about the issue of attraction, and when men say that they prefer natural women or they want their black queens to be natural, to embrace their natural hair. But they are often referring to a specific kind of natural hair.
Black men do not check for me when I look like this. The only time I feel like I get a strong pull and a strong reaction from black men is when I wear a wig.
Guys will be like, oh, I love natural hair. Da, da, da. I'm just like, no, you love a type of natural hair.
Let's
Don't
be
lie.
real. Black men say they love natural hair. But when the twist out shrinks, the curls frizz, and the wash and go is a wash and no, the love seems to disappear. Now let's be real, there's a difference between loving natural hair and loving the idea of it. Because when they hype it up, they're not picturing 4C kinky coily hair, shrinkage, a short afro. No, they're thinking about that shoulder length, loose curl, type 3, the type that fits the beauty standard.
At the end of the day, the only ones who benefit from this entire cycle are white people, the ones we exalted. because Black people are too busy tearing themselves down to see that the system is doing exactly what it was designed to. Colorism destroys everyone. It's poisonous self-love, identity, and unity. And until we face that truth, we'll keep destroying ourselves from within.
I noticed my hair was itchy and it was just difficult to breathe overall.
A report found potentially cancer-causing chemicals in synthetic braiding hair that's often marketed to Black women. Medical student Crystal Thomas says she had some negative health symptoms after using synthetic hair, so she started doing research and published her findings in an academic journal.
About 2 years ago, I decided to get braids for the first time in over a decade. And I was really excited about it at first, but as the day went on, I realized there was this unbearable smell. As I kept smelling this, my throat tightened up.
Consumer Reports, which conducted this study, is now calling on the FDA to investigate synthetic braiding hair and to create strict standards for these products.
We decided to test for heavy metals and volatile organic compounds, or VOCs. 9 out of the 10 products had concerning levels of lead. The good news was that one of the products had no heavy metals at all. And that suggested to us that if manufacturers really want to, they could make these products without at least heavy metals.
Kaneka, the brand that Crystal Thomas says she used, told Consumer Reports in part that they manufacture Kanekalon fibers that are used in hair products, but not the final products. The company also saying it would need more information to properly analyze the complaint. NBC News reached out to all the brands in the report, but has not yet heard back.
The amount of hair care and personal care products that are now being linked to cancer is freaking blowing my mind. Now, we all use the Just For Me product specifically because it was marketed to Black girls in the 1990s. I mean, they went hard with marketing to little Black and brown girls. Remember, I used to come with this little tape, Just For Me. Yeah, you know, childhood memories on nostalgia. While we were sitting in the kitchen getting this creamy crack in our head, they didn't tell us that it has so many endocrine disrupting chemicals in these things that will cause girls to have 150% more chance of developing uterine cancer if they use this product. Oh, and it's not just for me. It's olive oil and Dark and Lovely. Have used that product and you have fibroids, endometriosis, uterine cancer, please take a look at all the lawsuits that are going on right now. You may be able to be compensated. Doesn't stop there. We can go now to sunscreen. Banana Boat is being sued for hundreds of millions of dollars for accidentally having a chemical compound known as benzene, which is also carcinogenic, meaning it causes cancer. And there are sunscreen products that have left a lot of people with lung cancer, ovarian cancer, lymphoma cancer of the blood. It is ridiculous.
In conclusion, Black is beautiful, Black hair is beautiful, Black skin is beautiful. This video isn't here to tell you what to do with your hair. Whether this video makes you think, inspires you, or just entertains you, I hope it at least opens a conversation. Because the truth is, what's happening isn't just mental, it's physical. People are literally dying trying to meet these beauty standards. And yes, I know everything is poison, right? But this specifically is aimed at Black women, and I believe we need to do something about it. That's what I think. If this spoke to you, I hope you like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this.